Now at 9, a local non-for-profit hosts an annual community day for low-cost auto repairs. Plus, Borderlands Guardians of Children hosted a benefit today for children that have gone through abuse. And the Women of Rock will be performing this weekend in support of Legacy of Music.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
People come together to raise money for a local non-for-profit. This is KOAM News at 9. I'm Jalen Banks. The 4 states came together today to lend a fundraising hand to the higher powered ministries. The event had 20 other ministries helping with the cause. Higher Power Ministries helps with individuals with car repairs and holds classes teaching people how to do basic car maintenance and repairs.
Today is to bring recognition to Higher Power Garage
and
to bring recognition to our community. We want people to know what we do here and how we do it. We also to raise a little bit of money to help us to pay the bills over the next few months, and we also are looking to just bring some fun and excitement into our community.
All the proceeds at the event go directly to the organization. Borderlands Guardians of Children hosted a benefit today. The goal is to help promote and gain volunteers for their cause, which is to befriend, support, and look after children that have gone through abuse.
Well, the mission statement of Guardians of the Children is to recognize and react to child abuse and to educate the public to do the same. And so what we're out here doing today is a fundraiser to raise funds to support that mission and to raise awareness of who we are and what we do within our community.
They were joined by 5 other organizations. The Legacy of Music in the Summer of Rock showcases women and local bands who perform rock music. The event is to show the legacy of women in the genre of the music. 4 bands played at the event.
Our goal is to raise some money for the Legacy of Music and just to get some of the local talent that is around this area out for others to hear, and hopefully we'll have a good turnout today.
To find more events such as this one, you can find it at our website at koamnewsnow.com. We've had steady warm temps. Let's see what Sam Lane has for us in weather.
Well, I have some changes for you in store, and I think everyone's going to like it. We have a chance of storms coming into our forecast. But this afternoon, it was pretty toasty. 92 this afternoon. Normally, it's 88, but at least we weren't close to that 103 record back in 1954. Rainfall, we're getting a little bit dry, and we certainly could use more rain across our area. In fact, there are some storms way off towards the north and west of Wichita. But this is moving towards us, and I'll have details in your forecast coming right up.
Happening today, parents, community members, and survivors from Uvalde, Texas will be in the state capital of Austin to take part in a rally. They plan to ask Governor Abbott to call a special legislative session to raise a minimum age to purchase an AR-15 assault rifle to 21 years old. Organizers with March for Our Lives expect hundreds of people at today's rally of gun control. This event follows a decision this week by the Uvalde School Board to fire the district's embattled police chief. The latest fallout from the Robb Elementary mass shooting. Shimon Procopez has the latest.
This is a step in the right direction, but there's a lot more things that need to happen.
It's a moment of accountability that many in Uvalde had been waiting for, but many say isn't enough.
All in favor? Motion passes unanimously.
The Uvalde School Board voted unanimously Wednesday night to terminate the employment of Pete Arredondo. The school district's police chief criticized for his role in the response to the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School.
We're going to continue our fight.
No justice!
Many in Uvalde are also calling for the school board, the superintendent, and the entire school district police department to be replaced. All, in their eyes, partially responsible for failing to prevent the deaths of 19 students and 2 teachers 3 months ago.
You are not going to sweep this under the rug. 3 main failures. Number 1, school administration. Right there.
Before yesterday's meeting, Arredondo's lawyer released a statement with a request it be read aloud, calling the proceedings an unconstitutional public lynching and saying that Arredondo would not attend the board meeting over safety concerns.
So for him to not be here and actually to face the consequences to his actions. Exactly.
Arredondo has said he did not consider himself in charge during the May 24th shooting, but state officials identified him as the on-scene commander. The gunman was in 2 adjoined classrooms for more than an hour before officers entered and killed him. That time marked with chaos as no one took command.
We now take time to honor one of our 4 state heroes. Carthage, Missouri native Sylvester Ross served in the Navy from 1942 to 1946. He was a gunner for the Navy. To Sylvester Ross, we thank you, our 4 state hero. And coming up, what student loan forgiveness means for taxpayers. New developments in the FBI search at Mar-a-Lago. The Director of National Intelligence says she will brief top lawmakers on the potential risk that was posed by former President Trump holding a trove of highly classified and top secret records at his home. Alexandria Hoff has the latest on the story of the new reaction from Washington.
What this affidavit did was confirm that the Justice Department had mounting concerns over the nature and handling of the documents that were brought to Mar-a-Lago. It described that in January, Trump representatives turned over 15 boxes of records. By May, the Department of Justice determined that mixed in with other personal and unrelated work were highly classified documents. 184 had the classification markings, 25 were marked top secret, and others indicated that they contained information on clandestine human sources, or spies, as one might call them. Thus, the probable cause stated to justify the raid of Mar-a-Lago was the belief that additional classified documents would be found, along with evidence of obstruction. Here's Fox News contributor Jonathan Turley on that.
We still don't quite know what the specificity of the obstruction allegation was. Was it in the handling of these documents and the reporting of their possession, or did it go to something broader?
Turley also suggested that that answer might be found beneath the redactions. About half of the 38-page document was blacked out. President Biden maintains that he had no prior knowledge of the raid, and yesterday he was asked about former President Trump's claim that he had declassified the documents in his possession.
Well, I just want to know I've declassified everything in the world. I'm president. I can do it all. Come on. Declassified everything. I'm not going to comment on it because I don't know the detail. I don't even want to know. I'll let the Justice Department take care of it.
On social media, former President Trump once again called the investigation a witch hunt. And due to a paperwork error, the Trump legal team had to resubmit paperwork last night requesting that a third-party attorney be appointed to oversee the handling of what was collected. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
President Biden has been facing backlash from both sides of the aisle over his Student Loan Reduction Act. The criticism picking up the price tag to American taxpayers comes to sharper focus. One analysis says it'll cost $1 trillion all total. Meantime, the president is still optimistic about the state of the economy, but he may be at odds with Federal Reserve Chairman. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson is at the White House with the story.
The Federal Reserve Chairman says he will be forced to continue raising interest rates to help bring down historic inflation. That sent the markets tumbling, the Dow losing over 1,000 points Friday.
While higher interest rates, slower growth, and softer labor market conditions will bring down inflation, they will also bring some pain to households and businesses. These are the unfortunate costs of reducing inflation. But a failure to restore price stability would mean far greater pain.
Estimates vary widely on how much that student debt relief will cost the American taxpayer. The White House says $240 billion. Some experts think it will cost twice that amount. The University of Pennsylvania says it could cost over $1 trillion. The White House pushed back on that last estimate.
This is paid for. It is paid for and far more by the amount of deficit reduction that we're already on track for this year.
The nonpartisan Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget disagrees with the White House. Quote, it will likely cost more than double the amount saved. 8 Democrats have said publicly they do not support President Biden's student debt relief plan. All of them running in critical races in swing states this fall. Many don't want the president to campaign with them. President Biden defended his plan to use taxpayer dollars to pay for the student loans.
This is not going to cause inflation, number one. Number two, it will generate economic growth. It frees a lot of people up. It's going to grow the economy. We still have a way to go, but I'm optimistic.
A former economist under President Obama says President Biden's student debt relief plan is like throwing gasoline on the inflationary fire. At the White House, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
And next, Sam Lane will take a look at the forecast. Also, it's been a year since the Kabul airport attack, and President Biden speaks out.
Well, it's still summer out there with temperatures close to 90 degrees in many locations today, and also the drought continues too. But there is some hope on the horizon. Right now, out at Seneca, Missouri, it looks like a pretty pleasant evening at Indigo Casino Sky and Resort down there. Looks like a nice evening down there. Also here in Joplin, not too bad. You can look at our sky cam at 7th and Rangeline, looking pretty nice. 92 today was what we got up to. Normally we're 88, so of course that put us above normal in our record book. Not even close to that 103 back in the 1950s. Speaking of records, take a look at this. Over the last month, we've seen temperatures 20 days so far above normal, only 6 below and 1 normal day. So it's been a hot August once again across the 4 states. And of course, that's helping exacerbate the drought situation. But there is, like I said, hope on the horizon. You can see rainfall amounts has been very scattered and few and far between. But notice out to the north and west. Yes, quite a bit of rain out there in north central Kansas, and that is headed our way. But until then, we're going to be dealing with the mild weather and also dry. Temperatures this afternoon were pretty toasty, as I mentioned earlier. Mid-90s out towards the west, lower 90s and upper 80s in the eastern sections. And temperatures right now have fallen down into the lower 80s, even some 70s showing up. Over in Monette was 77 right now, 85 though still at Nowata. All right, let's take a look at temperatures as we go through the dew points, because the dew points is what makes it feel sticky out there. And with dew points in the mid 60s across the area, even some 70s showing up to the north, that means it's between sticky and muggy out there. So we definitely need some moisture, and it's in the atmosphere. We just need something to wring it out. And also we need something to wring out this pollen count, because we were 10.2 today out of 12, and tomorrow about the same, and most of that is ragweed. Currently in Joplin, we're sitting at 82, south-southeast winds at 6, and it feels like 84 right now because that dew point is up there at 66 current degrees. All right, let's take a look at the future track. You can see scattered showers and thunderstorms expected to develop up to the north and west tonight and in the morning hours, lows in the 70s across our area. Then as we go through the day, we're going to see more scattered storms developing across our area, isolated to scattered around, with highs in the lower 90s for most of the area. Then as we go through Sunday into Sunday night and Monday morning, again, lows in the 70s across our area. And there's still going to be a boundary in our area Monday afternoon, so we could see scattered storms once again with highs near 90 across our area. Then a front drops down from the north, giving us a little bit of cooler and drier weather, but it's not really a cold front. It's more like a wind shift line. Rainfall amounts are going to be sparse. We're not expecting everybody to get rainfall, but it would be nice. But we'll have to wait a little bit longer before we start to see some significant changes in our drought situation. Over the next 7 days, we're going to see 88 tomorrow, 91 on Monday, 91 on Tuesday, and then drier weather as we head through the rest of the week. And as we head into next week, we have another chance of storms, so at least we've got some rain on the forecast, but summer continues, Jalen.
Yep. Continue heat, scattered rain on the horizon, consistent. Well, I must say this though, just happy we don't have triple digits.
Oh, absolutely. We'll take this any day.
Yes.
All right.
I'm with you on that one. All right. Thank you, Sam. And coming up, the war in Ukraine continues as more missiles strike in Kyiv this morning. Russia and Ukraine are accusing each other of a new shelling at Europe's largest nuclear power plant. Russian forces have occupied the facility since early in the war. The latest fighting there is raising concerns of a potential radiation leak that could potentially trigger a nuclear disaster, as UN nuclear experts are preparing to visit the plant to prevent that. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan has the latest from the capital of Kyiv.
Heightened alarm after attacks in Zaporizhia, the town in the center of international concern over its proximity to Europe's largest nuclear power plant. Residents walked through the rubble of what used to be their home. Before today, 850 buildings here had already been damaged or destroyed from recent attacks.
There is nothing left in my house.
We are punished, but we don't know what for.
Just the day before, fires caused by shelling damaged transmissions lines and disconnected 2 units from the power grid for the very first time. This plant has since been reconnected, both Ukraine and Russia once again accusing each other. The International Atomic Energy Agency now says it could visit by next week, something Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says needs to happen.
It is essential that the IAEA mission arrives at the station as soon as possible and helps keep the power plant under permanent Ukrainian control.
In the east, Russian missiles this morning hitting Ukraine's second largest city of Kharkiv, fighting in the southern city of Mykolaiv, killing at least 1 person. And in the east, continued strikes today in the hard-hit Donetsk region. As the war rages on, Belarus President Alexander Lukashenko announcing this week that its military warplanes have been updated to carry nuclear weapons. Russia has stationed troops in Belarus and will reportedly help train these new pilots. Russia is also ramping up its own forces, announcing this week that it hopes to bring on an additional 137,000 troops by the end of this year. In Kyiv, Ukraine, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
It's been 1 year since the tragic explosion at Abbey Gate in Kabul airport and killed 13 American service members. They were evacuating the U.S. citizens and Afghan allies during what some are calling a chaotic U.S. withdrawal. Fox News correspondent Ryan Shulkite has the latest story from London.
President Biden remembered those 13 service members who were killed outside Kabul airport a year ago, issuing a statement Friday calling the attack a heinous terrorist act and saying that the soldiers were heroes who will never be forgotten. Let's go back in time for a little context. That attack took place amidst the frantic evacuation of 124,000 Americans and American allies, people from other countries and Afghanistan itself who had partnered up with the U.S. in that 20-year-long war. 33,000 of them flowed through just that one gate, Abbey Gate, where the attack took place. That's when the blast came, every soldier's worst nightmare, every family's worst nightmare, killing 11 Marines, 1 soldier, 1 Navy sailor, and 170 Afghans. People just desperate to get out of Afghanistan, fearful for their lives, only to get caught up in that explosion. Islamic State Khorasan province, a splinter extremist group in Afghanistan that even the Taliban is fighting, later claimed responsibility for the attack. 1 year on, the Taliban is still very much in charge in Afghanistan. Remember, the Taliban had already been in control of the capital for days when the evacuation began, and that attack came at that gate. And the situation is still very dire in Afghanistan. Violence persists, hunger is rampant. At the same time, one big difference, there are no American service members in Afghanistan, and that is thanks in no small part to the soldiers and the service members who were securing that airport during the evacuation, and of course the 13 service members who lost their lives in that attack. In London, Ryan Shulkite, Fox News.
And next, the Subaru Forester gets some upgrades. We'll have more next. Subaru is feeling a new kind of freedom with its new Wilderness SUV model. Fox's Gary Gustello takes a look.
The Subaru Forester is stepping up its SUV game, way up. This Forester is part of a growing lineup of Subaru Wilderness models, which have been upgraded to be even more adventurous than its already adventurous vehicles. It gets a half-inch boost in ground clearance for an almost truck-like 9.2 inches, extra body cladding 17-inch wheels with all-terrain tires, and a front skid plate. It also comes standard with a stronger roof rack that can hold up to 220 pounds on the move and 800 when it's parked, which is more than enough for rooftop mounted tent or a well-fed automotive reporter, who I think just pulled a muscle. The Forester Wilderness has a starting price of $34,695 and is powered by the same 182 horsepower flat 4-cylinder engine as the rest of the Forester lineup, but has had its maximum towing capacity doubled to 3,000 pounds. Its upholstery is water resistant, and so are its rubber floor mats. The Wilderness package also includes a front nose camera to help you through tight and tricky terrain, and an updated X-Mode traction management system with settings for dirt and snow and mud and deep snow. so you'll be seeing these driving farther into New England than ever before. You might not even need that front camera because, as with all Foresters, this has incredible visibility, giant windows, narrow roof pillars. It's almost like driving around in an aquarium, or I guess a terrarium. Even with the changes, the ride remains smooth and stable on paved roads, and it comes standard with the Subaru EyeSight package of driver aids that includes lane centering adaptive cruise control. The one main drawback to the Wilderness is that it drops the Forester's highway fuel economy from 33 miles per gallon to 28 miles per gallon due to the changes in aerodynamics and rolling resistance caused by all the new off-road stuff. But its low-speed fuel economy only drops by 1 mile per gallon, which just means you should spend less time with it on the highway and more time out here where it belongs. In the 2022 Subaru Forester Wilderness, Gary Gastelou, Fox News.
Well, that's the look at the first 30 minutes of the KOAM News on Fox 14. We'll have more after this. Now at 9, the annual Smoke-Off Competition Fundraiser is kicking off in Webb City. Plus, controversy between the FBI and Mark Zuckerberg heats up after comments made on a podcast. And NEO football hosts their first game of the season.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
We start the second half hour with some smoky summer goodness. The annual Mo Elk Southwest Barbecue Grill and Smoke-Off Competition fundraiser began in Webb City. The cookout consists of 18 teams that will battle for the best tasting chicken and ribs. KOAM's Shagun Bamdali has more.
The annual Missouri Elk Southwest District Barbecue Grill and Smoke-Off Competition fundraiser began today at Webb City. The cookout consists of 18 teams who battled for the best tasting ribs and chicken.
We have 18 different teams here today that are competing, and today they will be competing with chicken and ribs, and then later this afternoon we'll have a People's Choice event to where we will serve to the public from 2 to 5, $10, all you can eat. You'll get a ticket and vote on whichever one you like.
Novell tells me what the donated money will be used for.
All the money that we raise will be separated out between the lodges that have come to compete.
I spoke to a cook, and he tells me how he feels to be part of the event.
Oh, it's great. The camaraderie is awesome. We got a lot of great people out here. We got family. Can't see, we have a playground over here. The kids are all having a great time. It's just about coming together, putting your game on, and lighting up the grills and throwing out some great food.
Perry tells me why events like this are important.
Bringing people together. You know, we've been through a lot in the last 3 years. The whole country has, the whole world has, and to get people back together, doing these social events and talking one-on-one, that's really what it's all about, in my opinion. You know, just coming together, friends and family, and having a great day together.
And when I asked if he had anything else to say, here is what he said.
Just Creek Crew! Barbecue! That's it, yeah. So, thank you.
In Webb City, Shagun Bamdali, KOAM News.
Well, with the summer heat, hopefully this barbecue weather continues. And with that, Sam Lane joins us with another look at the weather.
Yeah, we had some grilling weather today. It was very hot on the grill, but it was also very hot in the atmosphere. Temperatures were in the 90s across most of the area. There were a few upper 80s, like in Monette and Cassville, but check out Chanute. They made it up to 96 this afternoon. Officially here in Joplin, we were 92, but temperatures right now have fallen down into the 80s, even 79 in Pittsburgh, a little bit cooler over in Monette, where they're currently 77 degrees. And as I mentioned, here in Joplin, we did make it up to 92, which was above normal. 88 is normal, and 103, the record back in 1954. Now, there are some storms on radar. They're out to the west. They are slowly moving to the east, and it looks like we have a chance of some storm activity tomorrow, and I'll have details in the forecast coming right up.
One of Facebook's founders and Meta CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, shared what some are calling a bombshell in an interview that Facebook suspended the Hunter Biden laptop story. According to Zuckerberg, while Facebook still allowed folks to share articles regarding the controversy, some are saying the tech giant changed the algorithm so fewer people could see those stories. Fox News correspondent Alexis Adams has more on that story.
On a podcast, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook CEO, says they did keep the Hunter Biden laptop story up on their website, but limited its reach, so not as many people saw that story. This came after Facebook says the FBI came forward, telling them to keep a lookout for Russian disinformation.
Is the FBI, I think, basically came to us, some folks on our team, and was like, hey, just so you know, like, you should be on high alert. There was we thought that there was a lot of Russian propaganda in the 2016 election. We have it on notice that basically there's about to be some kind of dump of that's similar to that. So just be vigilant.
The interview has led to outrage against the FBI. Georgia Congressman Andrew Clyde also tweeting that this isn't just insane, it's election interference. The FBI responding, saying in part, the agency has provided companies with foreign threat indicators to help them protect their platforms and customers from abuse by foreign influence actors, but says the FBI cannot ask or direct companies to take action on the information received. On Joe Rogan's podcast, which was released on Thursday, Zuckerberg explaining that Facebook gave a task to their fact checkers to verify the claims about Hunter Biden's laptop. Meta, Facebook's parent company, downplaying the comments from the podcast, tweeting out, as we've said, nothing about the Hunter Biden laptop is new, pointing out that Mark testified before the Senate nearly 2 years ago. At that time, Zuckerberg told senators that the FBI never mentioned the New York Post article about Hunter Biden's laptop. Now he says he doesn't remember. In New York, I'm Alexis McAdams, Fox News.
Coming up, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Another space journey for humans. Less than 48 hours ahead of the historic mission, the Artemis mission is on track for liftoff to travel around the moon in a new era of spaceflight on Monday, 5 decades after NASA's last trip to the lunar surface. Isabel Rosales has the preview of the preparations behind the launch.
We do feel good about our attempt on Monday.
The countdown has officially started for the launch of the Artemis One mission to its historic lunar journey from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The mission will test a new Space Launch System rocket, Orion spacecraft, and other components designed to make deep space travel safer for humans. 50 years after the last Apollo mission, the Artemis One mission is the first step in NASA's plan to return humans to the moon.
We're going back to the moon in preparation to go to Mars. That's the difference. 50 years ago, we went to the moon for a day, a few hours, 3 days max. Now we're going back to the moon to stay, to live, to learn, to build.
As the launch teams arrived at their stations at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida this morning, all eyes on any potential mishaps.
Our potential outcomes on Monday are that we could go within the window or we could scrub for any number of reasons. We could have weather, we could have technical issues, or we could have a range and public safety hold, and or a combination of any of those.
If it all goes according to plan, the spacecraft will orbit around the moon, traveling a total of 1.3 million miles over just 42 days, before splashing down off the coast of California in October. For now, Artemis 1 is one step closer to the moon. Its first launch window is Monday between 8:33 and 10:33 a.m. Eastern. I'm Isabel Rosales reporting.
And on this planet, the forecast is up next with Sam Lane. And later, McDonald County Softball opens up their season. Danny Terzer has that and a lot more next.
Well, it was another warm August day across the 4 states with temperatures in the 90s once again, and the dryness continues as well, but there is hope on the horizon. Right now in Seneca, Missouri at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, pretty pleasant evening down there, as well as across the entire region. We're going to see some changes, but let's take a look at August so far. We've had 20 days above normal for the highs in the month of August, only 6 below. And here we've had 5 days in a row of above normal temperatures across our area. And I think it's about time for a change. Right now, we're seeing rainfall amounts pretty dry, very sparse across our area. But notice, back to the north and west, there's quite a bit of rain starting to fall now in northwestern and central Kansas, and that is moving our way, but we're going to have to wait just a little bit longer before they get here. Temperatures right now are in the 80s for the most part, 79 in Pittsburgh, though, 80 in Lamar, 81 in Carthage, pick out your hometown, 85 in Neodesha. And dew points are up there too, in the mid-60s across our area, even some lower 70s. Check out Nevada and Stockton. That's just downright muggy up there. And you can see that on our dew point tracker, anywhere between sticky and muggy right now. But that is going to help with the rainfall in some of these thunderstorms. It feels like right now, in the mid-80s across our area, even upper 80s in Independence, right now sitting at 87 is what it feels like. Here's what it also feels like. It's pretty sniffly out there with the allergy index at 10.2 out of 12. Tomorrow's going to be the same, and most of that is ragweed. So if you're allergic to ragweed, that is what's going on. 82 right now in Joplin, 84 is what it feels like though. Dew point of 66 degrees, humidity at 58%, and the pressure is starting to fall. Your future track forecast looks like this tomorrow morning. Scattered showers and storms starting to move into southeastern Kansas with lows in the 70s on south winds across our area. Then in the afternoon, those scattered showers and storms are still going to be in our area, and so we'll drop the temperatures back into the upper 80s across our region. 87 in Veneta, 88 in Fort Scott, and 86 over in Neosho, upper 80s here in Joplin. Then as we go into Monday morning, again, lows in the 70s across our area with scattered storms possible, mainly to the south on Monday. But notice Monday evening, storms developing in the east and may kind of track backwards from east to west across our area. And then we're going to see temperatures dropping into the 70s and upper 60s as we move into Tuesday morning. Your rain tracker looks like this. Not everybody's going to get rain. Some places will get more than others. The best chance of that will be up to the north and also down to the south. Check out Bentonville. Models forecasting almost 3/4 of an inch of rain down there. All right, let's take a look at the next 7 days. You can see 88 tomorrow with scattered storms possible, 91 on Monday, 91 on Tuesday, and then it turns dry once again as we go into Wednesday through Saturday, but there's another chance of storms early next week. So we do have rain chances, but we're also going to have quite a bit of dry weather in there too as well, Jalen.
So, college football kicked off.
Yes.
Right? The Nebraska Cornhuskers and the Northwestern Wildcats got to play in Ireland today.
Ireland? Oh,
yeah,
well,
so they got to avoid all of this as we're facing this heat,
yeah,
across
definitely
the US.
need to hydrate if you're going to be outside.
Oh, for sure. All right. Thank you, Sam. And speaking of football, coming up in sports, the reigning Kansas Jayhawk Conference regular season champs play at home tonight. Plus, McDonald County faces Quapaw in their season opener. Danny Terzer has highlights next.
McDonald County softball finished the 2021 season with a 24-7 record and made an appearance in the district championship game. Today, the Mustangs travel across the state line for their season opener. McDonald County opens their schedule on the road against the Quapaw Wildcats. Quick start for the Mustangs. J.C. Franken rips one down the third baseline to score for McDonald County. Third inning, tied at 2. Maggie Pratt lays down a bunt. Caitlin Townsend scores from third to make it 3-2 Mustangs. Quapaw hangs with them though. They put up a big 6th inning. Brooklyn Williams knocks it into shallow center. Sky Bass slides into home. Wildcats within 2. But here come the Mustangs. They load the bases in the top of the 7th. Townsend clears the back fence for a grand slam, and McDonald County closes it out 11-5, the final.
Number one thing to take away from it is how competitive we were throughout the game. Quapaw did a great job of battling back, very scrappy team, but it just seemed like every time they were able to manufacture something offensively, we answered right back, which is something we always want to do. Signs of a championship team, and that's what we want.
It's also the first game of the season for the local JUCO football teams. NEO is looking to build off of last year's 4-5 record. NEO hosts Southern Shreveport today in the season opener. William King connects with Damon Kane. Kane beats a few guys before getting taken down a few yards out. Zion Burdett finishes the drive, takes it into the end zone himself for the first touchdown of the game. 7-0 NEO. Burdett with the ball again here, gets a first down for the Norsemen. Then the handoff goes to Trayvon Woolfolk. He muscles his way down the middle and in for the score. Second quarter now, Burdett pitches it off to Najee Ellis. He takes it down the near side and into the end zone. They keep the pressure on. Jags lose control of the snap here, and the Norsemen come away with a safety. All NEO in this one. The Norsemen shut out the Jags 44-0. The Independence Pirates begin their season with a big road game against Iowa Central. The 11th ranked Tritons take down the 10th ranked Pirates 34-17. The Red Ravens won the Kansas Jayhawk Conference regular season title last year and are picked to finish 4th in this year's preseason poll. Coffeyville hosts Highland this evening for their first game of the season, and the Red Ravens lead 30-0 in the fourth quarter. Quarterback Isaiah Velez connects with 3 different receivers in the end zone and takes one in himself from 16 yards out. That's a look at sports. We'll be right back.
This has never happened in the history of the Miss England beauty pageant until now. A woman is competing for the crown, free of makeup. Melissa Ralph is into the finals of the nearly century-old pageant. The 20-year-old college student from South London tells the UK's independent newspaper it means a lot to her to compete without makeup. She says many girls of different ages wear makeup because they feel pressured to do so. Ralph did wear makeup at a young age, but decided to go against the tradition for the beauty competition. She tells the newspaper it's about being happy in your own skin, and flaws in every person is unique. The pageant first introduced the bare-faced top model round of competition in 2019. Ralph plans to continue to go makeup-free when the Miss England finals are held in October.
Maybe we should try that.
Yeah, I know. Could you imagine if we didn't? We'd be super shy.
We sure would.
All right.
Let's take a look at the forecast. We are going to have some warm weather, but also chances of storms tomorrow. And that continues into Tuesday, but then the chances start shifting more southward and less. And then we start to turn dry, but more chances of rain early next week. So not too bad of a forecast. I wish we had more rainfall, though, because we desperately need it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's our time for now. Thank you for joining us and tuning in. We'll see you next time.